Welcome back. It's the Flow Friday Sports Show on Flow FM, and we're wrapping up our South Australian netball coverage with the last round of KNT Netball action. It all finished up last weekend. Finals kick off tomorrow. Sally Bywater is on the line with me to tell us everything. How are you, Sally?
I'm very well, thank you.
Very good stuff. Well, let's get into last weekend's games before we have a look at how the ladders finished up and how the finals are going to start off tomorrow, because it was nice to finish up with some close games. We got used to some blowouts over the last few weeks, but 3 out of 4 single digits this week, which is nice.
Absolutely. We like to finish the season on a high, and to have 5 of those sides now going to finals is great to see, but a great effort from those other 4 sides that didn't quite make it.
Well, speaking of finishing the season on a high, let's start with the game that wasn't close, and we've gotten used to them winning by big margins. It was Mundulla winning by a whopping 53 goals over Kingston, 73-20, and what a season for the Tigers. They go through 16-0 with a percentage of more than 200. They're going to be really tough to beat in the finals, but tell us about this win over Kingston.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic win here by Mundulla, and obviously we speak about them week after week. There's a reason why they're top of the ladder undefeated, so a great finish to the season, minor rounds by them. And Kingston only shooting 20 goals, but they did have an injury to one of their goalies early and had to make some positional changes, and I know they did finish the game with a bit of a mix around and a bit of fun, so that was great for them to finish their season on a nice finish for them.
Good to get some players playing in unfamiliar positions, but not so good to finish with injuries. But that's it for Kingston, so they can rest up now and probably enjoy a silly Sunday or a mad Monday or something this weekend. Let's go through these close games now. Naracoorte over Lucindale, 41-36, and that locked in a finals berth for Naracoorte.
It did, yeah. They obviously had to win this game, and we speak about them being on that fringe in that 6th spot, so it was great for them to finally get that nice win to finish off the season. The ball was in their hands. They had to get the win and played a fantastic game of netball, and obviously Lucindale not quite again. There's only 5 goals in the end, but they did drop down to 7, so a nice finish for them for the season.
And for Naracoorte, it was these sorts of games that they were dropping last year, and as a result, they missed out on finals, not by a whole lot, because they were struggling against the teams right near them on the ladder. So a good step forward for Naracoorte this year, and they'll look forward to playing finals tomorrow. Before we talk about that, though, 2 more games to go through. Kybe Bolite finished their season on a high, 48-45 over Bordertown, and they just miss out on finals by 1 game and percentage, but good for them to finish on a positive.
Absolutely, and both these teams went into this game knowing they couldn't make finals, so it's just going to be who could finish the season with a win. But it was great to see a fantastic game, and Kybe held the lead by 6 at the first break. Bordertown came back, were 1 up at half-time, so a bit of a seesawing first half. Kybe were up at 2 at 3-quarter time, but a great finish by Kybe to get that win. But it's fantastic to see Bordertown finish well as well. So obviously Kybe just missing out in 6th spot and Bordertown jumping up to 8th spot. So fantastic effort by both these clubs knowing they were playing finals.
Couple of really good games played there, but I think probably the most intriguing might have been this one. Border Districts going to Penola and coming away with the win 54-50. A really good match between 2 of the heavyweights of the comp and 2 of the best challengers to the Mundulla Tigers.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, again, these sides weren't going to change position. They're going to finish 3rd and 4th at the end of the minor rounds. But, a bit of bragging rights here for Border Districts. They're in that 4th position. So they're playing a cutthroat final this week, but fantastic to get that win. They match up very well, both these sides. So it was a great finish to both of them, and we're obviously going to see these playing this weekend in finals, which is great to see.
So that is the end of the regular season. The ladder finishes up with Mundulla undefeated on top, 16-0, 204.14%. They're going to be really tough to beat. Keith second at 12-2 and a draw. Penola at 10-5. Border Districts 8-6-1, Naracoorte 8-7. That is the finals picture, and then you've got Kybe and Lucindale with 7 wins each. Bordertown and Kingston rounding it out with 2 wins each. But let's look forward to a couple of massive games this weekend, all kicking off tomorrow with Keith hosting Penola. Well, they're not hosting them. It's being played at Kingston, but it's technically a Keith home game for finishing higher on the ladder. A couple of the heavyweights all this year, all last year as well. Of course, Penola, the reigning premiers. This is going to be a fantastic game. How do you see this one shaking out, Sally?
These 2 teams have met once this season, but back in round 8 where Keith got the win by 9 goals. So I think this will be a great matchup. Penola have still got a player out with injury in their centre court, so that will probably be lacking for them, but we'll have great matchups all over the court. Penola's goalies are always on fire. They play a great game, a great percentage. Keith have a young defending lineup, which will be fantastic to see playing. A lot of these probably playing their first senior final series, so it'll be fantastic. I think great game all round. I think Keith's just in a win to take on Mundulla next week.
All right, that's going to be a fantastic game, as is the Sunday game at Francis between Border Districts and Naracoorte. Border Districts finished higher on the ladder, but Naracoorte actually beat them in both meetings this year. They won by 3 goals just at the start of this month in round 14, and earlier in the season they won by 8 goals back in round 5. So Naracoorte will go into this one feeling pretty confident, you'd think.
Absolutely, I think so, and they deserve to. Obviously, those 2 meetings had a great wins over Border Districts. It just probably shows it doesn't matter where you're on the ladder. Come finals, we start clean slate. So I think Naracoorte will be slight favourites. I just think they have that great match-up against Border Districts. But obviously, Border Districts had that great win last week against Penola, which would give them a bit of confidence. So a crack of a game, this one, Sunday afternoon. Can't wait for it. Flip of a coin, I'm going to tip Border Districts in a close one for their first win against them this season.
All right, the tip is in for Border Districts to reverse the script, but 2 sensational games on the schedule for the first week of finals in KNT Netball this weekend. And of course, Mundulla earned themselves the week off. Have they got any injuries or anything like that to worry about that they'll benefit from getting this week off, or it'll just be a nice rest for them?
I think it'll be a nice rest for them. I think there could be a couple of little niggles in there, which they probably will be fighting, but come back next week all fit, like ready to go. So I think they'll be there out watching who their opposition's going to be next week, which I'm sure they'll go in with a lot of confidence. As
they deserve to. They've been so dominant this year, and the thought of them being well rested for next weekend is very, very daunting for whoever wins that game between Keith and Penola. But we'll get to that next week, Sally. Huge weekend ahead. Good luck to everyone taking the court for finals. Sally, enjoy the action, and we'll check in again next Friday.
Yeah, can't wait. It's going to be a great weekend.